What up, y'all? So, I saw this ABBA and Preach video. I thought it was a pretty good topic. So, what do you say we watch it together? And I'm gonna give you guys some of my thoughts about what they're talking about. And yeah, just hope you guys enjoy.
Today's topic.
Let's put this up there on the screen. This is a new Wall Street Journal investigation. Quote, men are abandoning higher education in such numbers, they now trail female college students by record levels. So get this, in 2020, the college gender gap has surged. 59% of college students are women, 40.5% of college students are men. And if you look even further, Marshall, it is predominantly young white men, regardless of class status, both poor and those, but when you compare poor and working class white men to those of young Black, Latino, and Asian men from the same economic backgrounds, they are the ones who are kind of leading the way in dropping out. So look, there's always kind of been a little bit of an imbalance within college, but 60-40 all within a year and a dramatic increase in that, especially whenever it comes to socioeconomic status.
My opinion on that is I think the divide is gonna grow even more. I think it's gonna grow exponentially, actually. I'm seeing the future right now. I'm thinking it's gonna be in the near future. It's gonna be like 85% female for the universities. I think a lot of that has to do with the political climate in the universities. If you look at the voting patterns, if you see females, they tend to lean more towards the left, a little more democratic, and males tend to lean more towards the Republican side, especially white males. I think that's one of the main reasons why there's such a divide at the moment, because the majority of these campuses, they're, far out there on the left.
This is absolutely crazy. It's going to change higher education for a long time. So what's going on here?
Well, it's not just going to change higher education. It's going to change our country.
Yeah.
Because the key fact in this Wall Street Journal report, it's probably paywalled, but I really recommend people try to find it as much as they can. Because once again, this is actually, I don't want to overstate this, a game changer as we look to how the next couple of decades are going to play out. There's been a huge actual decline in the number of individuals enrolled in college over the past decade, and 71% of that decline is driven by young men. Like that is the key fact.
People are saying they don't want to do it and they're making that conscious choice. Great. Listen, university is not tenable for most folks. Having to take out hundreds of thousands of dollars in through student loans, or even 50, 60 grand with interest and all that stuff. It's untenable, considering also the fact that the return on investment isn't very high for a lot of these degrees.
It's crazy, isn't it?
So knowing that young men are saying, listen, I'm not going to fuck up my whole life, take on all this debt and shackle myself to a degree that one, I probably don't even know if I want to do, because who the fuck knows what they want to do when they're 18, bro. At 18, I don't even know where I want to stick my dick in. You want to tell me to tell you why?
Yo, speaking straight facts, when you're an 18-year-old dude, bro, you don't know shit.
I could choose my future? Bruv, are you mad? That's crazy.
You're moving mad.
That's crazy.
You're moving mad.
And you're telling me I have to make a choice and take on debt? Bruv, this is a lose-lose, and it's going to be a lose-lose in 20 years.
Yeah, if you want to be like a lawyer or a doctor, I've heard some of y'all probably watch Dave Ramsey. You've seen them calling in $400,000, $500,000, $1 million worth of student loan debt. If you are going to college, you're basically making yourself an indentured servant, because you can't even default on those loans.
So it's just L's all day. Then I get to school, I'm stressed out, don't enjoy it, and the next 4 years of my life are just absolute trash if I didn't pick correctly. Nigga. And I gotta suffer with that decision forever? There are people literally running away from this country because they don't want to pay their student loans. So what? Am I going to be going crazy? Of course young men are quitting this thing. This college system is untenable.
It makes no sense.
It's untenable for everybody.
No sense.
And the fact that we pressure young folks into making this decision and telling them this is a way forward, it's not
only untenable, it's just a big money racket. All these people in all these college institutions, they're just making bank off every young person's future. They're just basically selling them into like I said, into slavery, and they basically got a guaranteed payday for your career as long as it takes you to pay back this debt, not to mention the interest.
Not like these are lazy people who want to stay home and smoke weed all day. All right, me, I know this. Young dudes want responsibility. They want to work. And so they go out and they join the labor force. And they'll do manual labor. You tell them to go on a construction field, vast majority of them will join the next day.
And they feel proud.
And they feel good because they know that the labor and the work that they put in comes back to them. When you go to university,
That's facts though. When I was 16, I was in school. I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna go make me some money out there, you know.
a bit more ephemeral. It's a little bit harder to grab. It's like sand in your hand. It keeps slipping out. That's not a great feeling. Not when you're looking for stability.
Oh, you want to work, sir? Well, okay, you'll work. Give me 50 grand first. What?
Nah. It's not. So I understand the frustration that they feel. And if they're making this conscious choice to say, listen, I'm lost, but I'm not going to make this reckless choice that history has shown is probably not going to be to my benefit, good for these men.
Man.
And I hope minorities follow suit as well. If you're not choosing a great field, all right, I do not recommend that you shackle yourself with debt. I don't recommend it. Take a couple extra years before you make that choice. Because we're too often, I know this from an immigrant standpoint, parents...
These guys are just speaking straight facts. The only thing that sucks is that if you want to be like a lawyer or you want to be a doctor, you have to go to these universities. So from what I hear, the only thing that men are mostly focusing on right now are like the STEM fields, you know, the science, technology, and the math fields. I hear that men are still enrolling in high numbers in those classes, but it's just the appeal for men is getting, for college, is just less and less. I had one of my friends, he was talking about the only thing he got from college was the experience itself. But and he was telling me he was like 30 G's in debt. Is that really worth it?
Speak on it.
Put that pressure.
Speak on
They
it.
put that pressure, and I've seen it break a lot of these kids. It fucked up a lot of their lives. Kids that were supposed to be doctors and had mental breakdowns and just gave up on everything.
Say, yo, you should
Shells.
have seen my parents when my sister went from health science
Right?
to teaching.
Because here's the thing, there's what your parents want you to be and who you are.
Yep.
And these things are constantly pulling at you from both extremes.
Yep.
And so I think from people from minority backgrounds, they're living through that existence. And if you're fortunate,
Yo. Yeah, I gotta stop this video because that's straight facts. And the thing is, the older you get, the more you start leaning towards whatever interests you and everything. So you start going to college, let's say at 18, right? You're in there for, let's say, 8 years. You're going to be a completely different person, but you got this degree and all this debt, and not to mention the way that the marketplace and the world and economics, all these changes. So it's almost like by the time you're out, your degree is already back in the Stone Age.
if you're one of the lucky ones, who you are happens to be pretty decently close to what your parents want you to do. So you might luck out, but most people don't have that experience. So I think the reason why this trend is so different between minority backgrounds and white folks is I think just the messaging is very, very, very different in that regards, and that pressure you get is different. It comes from a different place.
And more so, that's the only way that at some point that minorities could advance.
Yeah.
That's when they could.
Because you got to
block
bring your
them.
mama out the hood. You got to bring your dad out.
You
You
know
got
what
to
I
take
mean?
it, pull everybody out, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're an immigrant, well, we came to this country to give you a good life. So if you're not going to do it,
You're not going to
fucked
live
up.
your dreams.
Right.
You're going to work.
So if young men are saying, nah, I'm not going to jump into this, good for you guys. Listen, you're talking to a high school dropout, which I don't recommend. But what I'm
Same here. Don't recommend that at all. You gotta at least get that in, boys. I don't recommend you do that shit.
trying to say is, education wasn't for me, and I could see the writing on the wall. I went to orientation day for university to go see what it was like, so I sat down on a criminology lecture and I fell asleep. And I said, nigga, I'm not paying to sleep at school. I could nap for free in my bed. Save some money and make my own choices. Because guess what? If there's one thing my mom taught me other than go to school, love your money. It just so happens that's the only lesson I listen to. Shout out to mom. Okay? I like my money. That's why I always had a bit in the savings. Why? Because I didn't like having zero. All right? I would rather starve and wear the same clothes all day than have no money in my bank account. Okay?
Hey, shout outs to you, Mamba.
I never had debt. That's one of the best lessons my mom taught me. You can't pay for it.
Yeah, that's another thing that's crazy, guys. If you go to college, right, and you start off with like, all right, you start your career or whatever. Let's say some people are only getting paid 40 or 50 grand a year coming out of college with the college debt. So, and then let's say somebody starts in the career without their college degree, they just go out straight into the workforce, right? Let's say they're getting paid 30,000 a year, right? But you're getting paid less, but if you have that college debt, you're behind. The other dude is technically in front because you're negative net worth. You know what I'm saying?
You don't play with it, okay? If you can't afford to play, boy, don't play.
If you can't afford to play, stay away.
Hey, that's right. Okay? That was real.
That's the only lesson you
Yeah,
learn.
listen. That is one lesson. My mom, she worked a lot, so she couldn't be present too often. But that lesson stuck with me.
Yo, I love these guys. They're so funny, and they keep it real. That's the number one thing why I watch these guys.
My whole life, and I never had no issue with credit as a result. Yeah, in terms of finances, I understand it for folks, and I think here's the interesting thing.
Go in.
So we're speaking of social place. I think this is going to change the way work is going to work, right? The way the whole like employment landscape is going to look, completely going to change. Because all these men who are gaining experience but yet don't have like the necessary paperwork for degrees, employers are going to have to start looking differently at who they're going to hire, right? Because they need competence over paperwork.
You know,
Right?
You know. Go
So
ahead.
so employers are going to have to look at things very differently, right? So it's going to change the work landscape for one. Two, it's going to completely change the dating landscape.
Oh yeah,
Ladies,
you're gonna have to start paying for them bills.
you want somebody at your education level?
You're gonna have to go get it.
You want somebody who's making maybe comparable income?
Turn a lesbian.
You know what I mean?
All right, this is another huge topic, right? Because as some of you are aware, it's just simple biology. Women are hypergamous, right? So we all know that means they just basically want somebody same level or up higher. So everything was fine, except what people don't realize is once females got thrown into the workforce, not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but automatically now these men that they could have seen as potential partners, they're working side by side to these men. So all these men are, in their eyes, they're not potential candidates no more. Now only the men that are in a higher socioeconomic status, these are the men that they're looking for potential candidates. But the thing is, as these guys are pointing out, these females are getting more and more educated. Once again, not saying it's bad or good, but their pool of available candidates just gets smaller and smaller. And it seems like, for some reason, it seems like they don't tend to put two and two together.
He might not make as much as you, but best believe he's going to have less debt than you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be just how much you make. It's like, bitch, you got student debt. Let's talk, okay? It's about to be a different conversation.
Hey.
Hypergamy, and if you still play into that, you going to die alone.
That shit's gonna
Guaranteed.
Wow, that shit's gonna sound.
That's another huge topic right there, guys. I listen to Dave Ramsey all the time. One thing I notice about all my friends and all that, for some reason, they meet these girls, but the conversation of how much student debt do you got never comes into the conversation. Like, I know you meet people and I know you form relationships and everything's not about money, but some of these people are coming in with $100,000, $200,000 worth of student debt. I really think you need to think things through if that's the case.
Bang.
It's gonna change a
It's
lot.
gonna change.
All right?
God damn.
A lot's going to change.
The way people looking at things.
Yeah.
So I got a lawyer's degree. I'm doing this. Cool. How's the student land? Well, I'm 150 down. Oh, okay. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah. Only a few of you ladies are going to get in the mine.
Crazy.
Okay? Only a few of you ladies going to get in the gold mine. The rest of y'all going to be waiting outside, just thirsting for gold. There's not going to be that many people admitted. Why? Because the mine, it's starting to run dry.
God damn.
It's going to be a different landscape. So I'm very looking forward to seeing what is going to happen going forward. I hope for a lot of these folks, they find some measure of comfort in the employment sector and doing work and finding like Joyce and just like labor. You know?
How long do you think the switch gonna happen? 5 years?
Oh no, I think this is permanent.
Oh no, the switch. No, this like people are gonna look the way people are gonna look at dating and everything and stuff. When is it starting?
Oh, it's already been starting.
Yeah,
It's already been starting because these trends have already showcased themselves. Remember that video we did later?
I completely agree. The dating market is already hugely affected by this this phenomenon of men dropping out of colleges and just going straight to the workforce, and females just getting more and more educated.
Earlier about like
Dating down?
Yeah. That's only gonna happen
more and more.
And so this whole idea of like traditionally the man makes more and all this other stuff, that may not necessarily be true in some time. So what do you think about what you just heard?
I could try to analyze it. I mean, and it's white people that white men that are not going to the school, right?
Men in general, but white men are driving it.
We spent the last couple of years saying that white men were the problem. White men were leading the world. White men were winning. This new generation doesn't want to be that. There's that. There's the fact that, you know, everything changed. There's technology has changed everywhere. Cars, phones, computers.
Well, they were talking about the white men right there earlier. That's another thing, man. Like nowadays, it seems like everybody's racist towards the white men. Like the minorities, they all always talking shit about the white man as the enemy. The females, the patriarch, right? The white females, even they try to do this whole social justice warrior type of thing and say that the white male is the evil patriarch archetype, you know. So it just feels like they're getting it from every side, you know. Like I sometimes feel it, even though I'm not white, but just being a man, I feel that. So I can only imagine what these guys go through. I feel like everybody's racist towards white men now, and that's something nobody talks about.
The classroom has been the same since Charlemagne, the guy that invented made that mandatory. It never really appealed to boys. We just winging because that's the thing that we had to do. Them dropping out, I can understand. I just don't know why it didn't happen sooner. I mean, I had to complete school. If I take my experience, I had to complete school. I said to myself, at least let me just finish this high school, because I'm already dumb enough and I'm already not supposed to be here, because every teacher that I'm having are telling me that I'm not supposed to be here and I'm never going to accomplish anything in life. So let me just at least finish that.
But yeah, guys, so I just wanted to make a quick commentary. One thing, I don't know if these guys touched on it or not, also is I think also this trend is also going into politics. And I just see more and more females coming into the political space, which, like I said earlier, a lot of them tend to lean towards more the Democratic and left-leaning side. So it's just a huge change in just the dynamics and the way this country's going. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think about the commentary. I'd love to chat with y'all. Just hit me some comments right there. If you enjoyed the commentary, please subscribe and give me some requests if you guys want me to comment on something. And check out the rest of this video. I love Abba and Preach, funny dudes, and they always keep it real. Watch the rest of the video, guys. All right, y'all have a good day.